Let's go ahead and brighten this image and get the curves adjustment made, but we're going to use parts of the image to do it. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to hit start and we're going to initiate a adjustment layer here and go to curves. But this time we're going to actually click on parts of the trees to try to figure out where the dark is going to be. So if I come over here to these eyedroppers. This first eyedropper is setting the looking for the darkest area. So when I do that, it says sample in image to set black point. This sets the midtone point, and this sets the lightest point. So this sometimes can get a little tricky and will make the colors look a little weird, but we can always make adjustments. So I'm going to start with finding my shadow. So right here, I'm going to click next. So it's talking about how this dot appears on the curve and it represents any spot you clicked on, but we haven't actually clicked on anything. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to select the shadow one. I'm going to come around here where the tree is at. So it looks like that's kind of a dark area right here on the tree. And I'm going to click once. So what that did is that actually put this down into the corner, and it has that point selected as its darkest point. So I think I may have actually clicked on what it considered to be the darkest point. So watch, if I click here on a light area, you could do this, but we're going to undo. See how it just made everything really dark. So if I came in here and I decided, you know what, I just undid, I just pressed Command Z, a curve. I'm going to take my black and I'm going to say, I want this area to be my darkest color. See how it just darkened up the image slightly. I'm going to hit undo. I'm going to try that again. So it darkened up the entire thing. You have to be careful because, again, if I click on something that's not quite dark, like if I got part of the sky, it did some weird stuff there. It's actually generating multiple lines here that it's adjusting the red, the green, and the blue curves darkest point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo, come back over here to the black, and I'm just going to click once. So what that's doing is it's starting to kind of change where the dark areas are. Now let's see whether or not, yeah, see that didn't do squat. So let me actually show you what's happening. So this is a way that you can quickly take and create a curve without you actually manually adjusting things. If I come in here and I grab my white and I decide what's the lightest area that I see in here, I kind of see that. I kind of see this edge. So I'm going to actually tap once there. That brightened up the image a little bit. Sometimes that's enough to do things. The midtone are definitely much, much trickier to find. One way that you can test this out on your own image, if you want to figure out where your darkest point is, take this lightest area. Actually, I take that back. Take this darkest area and move this. This is going to show me if they don't completely disappear, that gives me a clue that that is where the lightest lights are. So if I take the dark triangle and move it over, that's going to show me the lightest lights. If I take the light one here and I drag this all the way over, the last things to disappear are going to be the areas that are the darkest. So now that I'm looking at that, I can kind of see there were some really dark areas here and some really dark areas there that I didn't happen to notice. So if I wanted to go back and make that adjustment, I could choose to click there, and it didn't really dramatically change it. So this is just another technique in being able to make adjustments using curves, but instead of dragging, because this doesn't have any clear area where there's a lot of color missing. If I just drag this over, that doesn't look right. It's not dramatic. And then there's not a lot of empty space on this side like I showed you in the last two. So setting what your purest black area is, you can use the eyedroppers to do that, and it'll adjust it just based on that one characteristic of the image, the dark area.